I gained the ability to read minds the day before my wedding. On my wedding night, I finally found an opportunity while my cold and handsome husband was going to bed, to secretly approach him. Before I even touched the edge of the bed, I was pushed away by him instead. I hope I didn't push little Wanwan too hard, I heard. I suddenly looked up at him. His face was filled with indifference. I instinctively clutched my aching arm, thinking I had misheard him. Then his voice echoed in my ears again. I must have pushed Wanwan too hard. What should I do? She won't hate me now, will she? Wanwan, please don't hate me. Again, I looked up at him abruptly. Chumo remained as he was, his expression indifferent, revealing no other emotions. I did it on purpose. No matter how the prince treats me, I will never hate the prince. I forced myself to stand up. His inner voice came again, that's great. Wanwan said she doesn't hate me. That means she likes me. I love Wanwan even more now, but the voice that spoke in reality was incredibly cold. Is this what your father taught you? What a joke. How could my father teach me to say these things? My father would love nothing more than to drag the whole family to target Chumo. Chumo is the regent, recently transferred to the capital from his fief. Because of his appearance, my father's smooth-sailing life had effectively come to an end. My father was targeted by Chumo in everything he did. If my father flattered the emperor, Chumo would oppose it. No matter what sycophantic words my father said to the emperor, or what favors he offered, Chumo just couldn't stand him. He insisted on interfering to disparage my father, causing my father to be incredibly depressed for a while. His round belly even shrank quite a bit. Until one day, he came up with a wicked plan. That's right, marrying off his daughter. Making Chumo his son-in-law. I am that unlucky scapegoat. My name is Songwaner. My father raised me well. I'm proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. He originally intended for me to enter the palace as a concubine, but because he was so determined to conquer Chumo, he changed his mind the next day. He enthusiastically asked the emperor to decree the marriage. Everyone in the court knew that Chumo hated my father. Everyone was waiting to see my father make a fool of himself. Instead of a joke, everyone ended up attending the banquet, drinking the wedding wine for me and Chumo. Before I got married, my father held my hand with deep concern. He said since Chumo was willing to marry me, his plan of conquest was already halfway successful. The remaining half would depend on me. He told me to train Chumo well, ideally turning him into a henpecked husband. If I could even persuade him to rebel, that would be even better. If the rebellion succeeded, he would be emperor and I would be empress. If it failed, he would be a prisoner while my father ensured my safety. I slapped my leg in amazement. Father, you're a damn genius. So, I deliberately tried to get close, hoping to catch Chumo's attention, never expecting to be pushed by him, nor to mysteriously hear his inner thoughts. Looking back, it's truly a godsend. I locked my gaze on Chumo, and affectedly rubbed my arm. Wanwan only knows to follow her husband once married. Wanwan will never hate her husband in this life. These manipulative words were all learned from storybooks. I heard men fall for this stuff. In my ears, Chumo's excited inner voice shouted again. If Wanwan comes closer one more time, it means she doesn't hate me. I moved my feet. A cold light flashed in his eyes. He asked warily, what are you doing? I want to be close to the prince, of course. I put on a completely innocent expression. You're clearly the one who wanted me to come up. He retreated in absolute horror, as if I were a monster. Could I actually eat him? This prince does not allow you to come over. I walked to the edge of the bed and said softly. Is the prince afraid of me? I am your princess, after all. Wanwan is so gentle. Wanwan said she is my princess. She really doesn't hate me. But his face gradually darkened. If it weren't for the emperor's decree, do you think a mere daughter of a minister would be worthy of entering my regent's manor? No, 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 my Wanwan is the most worthy. Hee. I was instantly speechless. How can this regent have two faces? Dad, you've really caused a lot of trouble. How am I supposed to win him over? I gave a stiff smile, my hand gently tracing circles on the back of Chumo's hand. For the prince to say that, it really breaks my heart. My father knew I've admired the prince for a long time. He was willing to lower himself for my sake, to ask for the marriage decree. If the prince was unwilling, you could have simply refused the marriage. Don't ask me why I'm being so manipulative. It's all learned from storybooks. These words really worked wonders on Chumo. His face instantly changed from dark to bright, but he still kept a cold, inscrutable expression. Songwaner, you'd better not lie to this prince. Otherwise the consequences will be severe. His inner voice shouted loudly. My Wanwan actually loves me so much. I'm so happy. No matter how much inner drama he had, his actions remained minimal. And his wariness toward me didn't decrease one bit. Chumo pulled his hand away without warning, making me miss my mark. Then he turned his back to me. I was full of confusion. But then I heard, Wanwan is too close to me. I can't let her find out. I'm blushing. I was actually curious to see him blushing. I reached out as if possessed, and accidentally touched his clothes. Unexpectedly, I was kicked out of the room by Chumo. and moved to a different place. That would have been fine. But that place was incredibly remote. I have to say, my new residence was quite grand. Gold was visible everywhere. It was glittering. No different from the palaces where the imperial concubines lived. Is this the legendary golden house for a hidden beauty? I didn't sleep all night. Because the gold powder on the ceiling was so bright it almost blinded me. Early the next morning, I heard playful sounds outside the window. I wonder if Wan slept well last night. Fortunately, I woke up early so I can see Wan's beautiful sleeping face. That familiar inner voice was back. I quickly threw on a cloak and opened the wooden window. Resting my chin on one hand, I watched the moving figure hiding in the bushes. The bushes stopped moving. A tall figure suddenly stood up, blocking my view. He met my eyes. After seeing my face clearly, he was like a startled rabbit. Unable to stand steadily, I instinctively reached out and grabbed his collar, pulling him toward me. Only then did he regain his footing. Has the prince changed his mind? Are you here to take me back? His face quickly turned red, and he clumsily pulled my hand away. This prince is only here for morning exercises. I'm not here to take you back. Seeing his panicked look, I actually found it a bit cute. Wan, don't listen to my nonsense. I really want to take you back. But I'm afraid I won't be able to control myself. Control what? What kind of bold words are these? No wonder yesterday, when I just touched his clothes, he kicked me out. Afterwards, I heard, if Wan asks me to take her back, I'll take her back. For the sake of my father's great cause, I endured. I pitched my voice, with a hint of coquettishness. But I want to go back with the prince. Will the prince take me back? This prince refuses. He gave me a cold glance and quickly looked away. His inner wailing filled my ears. I regret it. I regret it so much. Why didn't I agree to Wan? This kind of begging is something I, Song Waner, won't do twice. He was still wailing inside. If Wan begs me just one more time, I'll agree. The noise was nearly deafening. I steeled myself and gritted my teeth, forcing a smile. Prince, Song Waner begs you. His eyes flashed. He was stunned for a moment when he looked at me. Finally, he tried to hide it. But his ears were red and he was anxious. He looked like a rabbit with its fur standing up. This prince said no, and that's final. Is this guy seriously messing with my head? No, Wan is too cute. If she really lives with me, I really won't be able to resist being intimate with her. No, I let out a disdainful laugh. What are you laughing at? I'm laughing because even the way the prince gets angry is so likable to me. I looked at him with a smile in my eyes. Watching his face turn red instantly, he reached out with his long arm and immediately slammed the window shut. I shrank back in shock, then heard his intense inner voice. Wan's smile is against the rules. My heart is about to jump out. What should I do? I really want to hide her away. After this incident, Chu Mo avoided me intentionally or unintentionally, but every night I could hear his inner voice. Night 1, Wan is asleep. I wonder if she'll dream of me. Night 2. Wan looks so well behaved when she sleeps. If only I could be by her side. Night 3. Does Wan hate me now? Why hasn't she come to find me on the third day? She hasn't even asked the guards how I'm doing. I regret it. If I had known, I should have agreed to her back then. It made my head ache for a long time. I couldn't sleep all night. I mostly slept during the day. On the fourth night, I didn't sleep. I wanted to catch him in the act and talk to him about returning to my family home. I should have gone back yesterday. But during the day, I really couldn't summon any energy. All my time was spent sleeping. I waited until the middle of the night. But Chu Mo still didn't come, so I decided to go find him myself. And I saw him completely drunk. He was leaning on another man. The man gave a silly smile when he saw me. Regent's consort. My name is Xingnan. I brought the regent back to you. You must take good care of him. Before I could react, Xingnan tossed Chu Mo to me and waved goodbye as he left. I've done brother Chu Mo another big favor today. I must make him pay me back well another day. This was Xingnan's inner thought. What big favor? While I was wondering, I heard Chu Mo calling my name. Wan. Chu Mo smelled strongly of alcohol. He was unconscious from drinking. His tall body pressed directly against me. Very heavy. He rubbed against my hair, messing it up, and kept mumbling my name. Wan, don't hate me. At this moment, he had long since dropped the facade of the cold regent. Like a clingy child, he kept trying to burrow into my arms. I won't hate the prince. I helped him back to the room and ordered someone to cook hangover soup. Chu Mo was red all over. He pulled open his collar because of the heat. I could see quite a bit. I shyly turned away, my face already burning. In my ears came his soft, whimpering voice. I really am hated. Wan won't even look at me now. Xingnan, that liar, told me to pretend to be drunk to fool her. If I had known, I wouldn't have drunk so much. I snapped my head back. Chu Mo was still lying quietly on the bed, eyes tightly closed. This acting is indeed clumsy. Feeling playful, I reached out to pry open his eyelids. But he grabbed my hand tightly. He opened his eyes. What are you trying to do to this prince? His heart. Wanwan couldn't have improper thoughts about me, right? No, no. I have to stay composed. The more excited he was inside, the stronger the grip on my hand. I gasped in pain. Prince, you're hurting me. He immediately let go. Frowning, Wanwan is in pain. Ointment, I need to find ointment. Chuemo got up, staggering toward the cabinet. He took a bottle of ointment and handed it to me. He looked down at me. His expression still indifferent. The flush on his face had faded quite a bit. He coldly held my arm. Wanwan is like a porcelain doll. I must never do this again. Wanwan, apply this quickly so it won't hurt. I smiled gently. And met his dark eyes. Prince, if I accept this, will you agree to let me move back and live with you? Okay? A scream echoed in my ears. Ah. What kind of angel is my Wanwan? She actually doesn't hate me. Even after I treated her like that, she still wants to live with me. I looked at him, unable to help but wonder why he liked me so much. His heart was so passionate. Yet he could show none of it. He leaned closer to me, his alcohol-scented breath brushing against my face. His beautiful eyes stared straight at me. As long as you don't cross the line, this prince will reluctantly agree. My heart trembled violently. He's willing to lower his guard? I gave a small smile, grabbed his wrist, and leaned in suddenly. I intentionally rubbed my nose against his. What if I want to cross the line? Will the prince allow it? I just wanted to tease this cold, proud, and childish man. To see how he would react. He lost his footing, stumbling slightly, but quickly regained his balance. Chuemo looked at me helplessly. I could see his ears were bright red. Song Wonner, as a lady. How can you say such things? I was about to tease him again. But my ears were suddenly overwhelmed. My Wanwan is too good at this. How am I supposed to face her in the future? When she said cross the line, did she want to kiss me? If she kisses me, I can die without regrets, dear. Oh boy, I think I played too much. Oh boy, I think I played too much. A hurried sound of footsteps came from outside. Princess, the hangover soup is here. Chuemo stumbled back a few steps, instantly creating distance between us. As usual, his words didn't match his heart. Put the soup down and get out, he spoke in a deep voice, glancing at Chui Lan. I could feel the anger in him. How annoying. Why disturb me and Wanwan? The more I looked at Chuemo, the more I liked him. Once he lowers his guard even more, and gradually becomes a devoted husband, I don't believe he'll still target my father. Chui Lan quickly put down the soup, keeping her head down, not daring to look at me. Chui Lan's thought, Master Xingnan said. The prince went to great lengths to marry the princess. But it doesn't look like it to me. I'd better run away quickly. Princess, good luck. She ran very fast and thoughtfully closed the door for us, leaving only me and Chuemo in the room. My little head was filled with big questions. Went to great lengths? Wasn't I sold out by my father? I'm not sure. I'll have to ask when I go home tomorrow. That night, I slept with Chuemo. He used 2 pillows to divide the bed in half, letting me sleep on the inside while he slept on the outside. He even had 2 blankets prepared. Chuemo lay on the bed and closed his eyes, coldly telling me, behave yourself. Then he turned his back, secretly rejoicing, too close, too close. Wanwan smells so good. I'll have to use the same scent another day. Listening to his inner monologue, I didn't find it annoying anymore. It was actually quite interesting. Why isn't she moving? Could she be asleep already? Then can I turn around and look at her? Chumo's body moved slowly. I watched him with interest. His movements were very slow, as if he were afraid of waking me. Can't the prince sleep? I suddenly spoke. His body stiffened, and he pulled up the blanket as a cover. This prince is already asleep. People who are asleep can't talk. He obediently shut his mouth. How can a man be so cute? His heart, Wanwan is breaking the rules again. A smile unconsciously appeared on my face. Prince, take me with you to court tomorrow. After court, I want to return to the minister's manor with the prince. Chumo's heart beat unusually fast. I could actually hear his heartbeat. His inner voice. Wanwan wants to take me back to the minister's manor? Then won't that father-in-law make things difficult for me? What to do? I don't want to go at all. But if I don't go, will Wanwan be disappointed? I almost laughed out loud. I didn't expect Chuemo to know my father's temperament so well. Does the prince not want to go back with me? I leaned toward him slightly, my hand naturally resting on the pillow between us. Chuemo didn't say anything, and even his inner voice went silent. I wasn't used to it. I wanted to reach out and touch his clothes, but my hand paused midair, and I finally pulled it back. Prince, if my father makes things difficult for you, I will protect you. You are Wanner's husband. Wanner will naturally protect you. Chuemo still didn't move. I looked at his broad back, feeling as if I were being ignored by him. Chuemo, you stingy man. Now, not even a single inner thought. Are you willing to let me hear? I even said so many sentimental words. After a while, I heard whimpering sounds getting louder. His inner voice. My Wanwan is truly the best girl in the world. She said she would protect me. Hee, protect me. Then I'm not afraid. His inner voice didn't stop. But his elegant voice reached my ears. You should worry about the minister. This prince doesn't need a woman's protection. The prince is just being stubborn. I accidentally let it slip. Chumo turned around abruptly to look at me, showing a look of utter surprise. What did you say? His inner voice. Did I blow my cover? No, right? Xingnan said it's not time yet. He told me to act cold. I am being very cold. Why me? Why does Wanwan know? I could hear the panic in his heart. I said, I'm grateful the prince can accompany me home. I'm very grateful. I guiltily pulled the blanket over my neck, digesting his inner words. The conclusion is that this Master Xingnan is not simple. I was poked awake by Chumo. I looked at him with sleepy eyes. He immediately withdrew his hand. He coughed twice as a cover-up. He sat at the head of the bed, turning sideways to face me, and spoke coldly, get up. His inner voice. I must have poked Wanwan awake. But Wanwan's cheeks are really so pokeable. If I'd known, I wouldn't have poked so hard just now. So that's why my cheek felt so sore. The prince is so thoughtful. Knowing I couldn't wake up, he specifically woke me. His inner voice. My Wanwan is truly understanding. She actually didn't blame me. I must treat her well. The next second, Chumo reached his hand out to me. I stared at that hand with long, slender fingers, filled with confusion. Prince, what do you mean by this? Forget it if you won't take it. He withdrew his hand. And stood up. His inner voice wailing again. Did I just scare Wanwan? If I'd known, I wouldn't have taken the initiative to ask for a handhold, but I really want to hold hands. I suddenly scrambled up from the bed, grabbed Chumo's wrist, and followed suit by holding his hand. The prince is so good to me. Wana is a good person. Wana likes you, let's just coax her like this for now. But a trace of guilt inexplicably rose in my heart. Chumo really can't handle being flirted with. The tips of his ears turned visibly red. His hand grew increasingly warm. And his heart was laughing nonstop. Laughing in a very silly way. Today was the first time I shared breakfast with him. The breakfast on the table was very lavish. And everything placed in front of me was what I loved to eat. My heart warmed. Before I was married, I also shared breakfast with my father. My father would also place my favorites right in front of me. It seems Chumo really does cherish me. He's only so attentive because he likes me. Don't be fooled by how focused Chumo looks now. Eating breakfast so elegantly. Inside his heart, he was still immersed in the hand-holding from earlier. I held hands with Wanwan. I'm never going to wash this hand for the rest of my life. I wonder if I can hold hands again later. Thank you, Prince. As soon as I said this, it caught Chumo's attention. He looked up at me. Thanking this prince for what? These breakfast dishes are all my favorites. Thank you for being so attentive to me, Prince. This prince was not being attentive to you. You're overthinking it. Chumo's face went cold. And he continued eating his breakfast unhurriedly. How did Wanwan know? I got up early just to go out and buy these. Wanwan is too smart. I feel like I'm about to blow my cover. When will I be able to openly get close to Wanwan? Or have Wanwan get close to me? One after another, the inner voices came through. Listening to them, I inexplicably felt that the savory tofu pudding in my hand was tinged with sweetness. I stayed in the carriage to catch up on sleep, waiting for Chumo and my father to finish the morning court session. When the officials came out of the palace gates in groups, I finally got out of the carriage. Ministerly of the Ministry of Revenue, who was quite familiar with my father, saw me and came over to talk to me. Waner, you have no idea. The regent prince actually praised your father today. It really made us all laugh. I gave an awkward, polite smile, not feeling that this was a good thing at all. How did the regent prince praise my father? He praised your father's attire today as being quite unique. I breathed a sigh of relief. Did you know that on your father's court robes today, there was even a hole in the seat of his trousers? None of us dared to say a single word. But he just lightly offered that praise, directly infuriating your father to no end. Oh no, oh no. I saw my father walking out hurriedly. I immediately bid Ministerly farewell. My father was covering his backside with one hand, walking toward me with a mincing gait. Father. I stepped forward and took his arm. Daughter, when you go back today, you must severely punish Chumo. I saw that in his eyes. There were tears of humiliation. I glanced behind him. The court robe did indeed have a large hole. I just hadn't expected the location of the tear. The location of the tear was actually right on the buttocks. As long as he bent over, one could see his black inner trousers. The hole in the inner trousers was in the same spot. Fortunately, my father was wearing several layers. He also had a pair of white undertrousers inside, so it wasn't too humiliating. I took off my cloak and put it on my father, covering up this humiliation for him. Father, didn't you feel it when you put them on? I was in such a hurry to get to court today. How could I have known that my autumn court robes had been burned by your young cousin last winter? Luckily, the emperor didn't take offense. Otherwise, your father would spend the rest of his life in prison. Burned by my young cousin. There did seem to be such an incident. My father looked at me blankly. My darling daughter, what are you doing here? Today is my home visit. So I specifically came to pick you up after court. You can come back, but don't even think about letting Chumo enter the gates of my minister's manor. My father's expression changed instantly, his face souring. Just as he finished speaking, I saw Chumo. At some point, he had appeared behind my father. What did the minister say? My heart tightened. Chumo's posture was tall and upright. As he walked closer and closer, his inner thoughts gradually reached my ears. I didn't target my father-in-law at all today. Wanwan will surely praise me, right? It seemed he hadn't clearly heard what my father said. I immediately breathed a sigh of relief. My father seemed to have been bullied into submission. He shrank back like a quail and hid behind me. He hid behind me. A father-in-law being afraid of his son-in-law, how novel. I had originally been worried that the two of them would start fighting in front of me. But seeing this cowardly display, a fight was out of the question. At most, they would just curse each other in their hearts. I suggested that my father take one carriage alone. While Chumo and I squeezed into another carriage, my father didn't agree. He insisted on squeezing into the carriage with us. Chumo was grumbling about my father in his head. In the end, I was squeezed between the two men. My father would glance at Chumo every now and then. 2 glances, 3 glances. I lost count. Regardless, with every glance from my father, he would give a cold snort in his heart. His mental journey went from my darling daughter doesn't love me anymore to if I'd known, I wouldn't have married her to Chumo. Wife, I regret it. I'm so guilty. Listening to my father's repentance to my mother. To be honest, it was quite upsetting for me. My mother died giving birth to me. My father raised me all by himself, so he rarely mentioned my mother in front of me. Fearing I would be sad, my left ear kept hearing Chumo's inner thoughts. And I was instantly comforted. Father-in-law took the initiative to sit in the same carriage as me. Then that means he's accepted me. My praise for him today wasn't in vain. Wanwan even took the initiative to hold my hand earlier. I love her to death. Chumo is actually quite cute. It's just that my father doesn't know it. As soon as my father entered the house, he had someone bring out a fire basin. He took my hand to step over it together, saying it was to get rid of bad luck. My father was being passive-aggressive. I pulled Chumo along to step over it too. My father got anxious and told them to take the basin away. I didn't show any malice but insisted they leave the basin there, and dragged Chumo across it. My father was helpless. With a long face, he watched helplessly as Chumo held my hand and stepped over the basin. My father's heart, wife. A grown daughter cannot be kept at home. I regret it. I feel so guilty. He had been shouting this all the way. I was no longer bothered by it. I had gradually grown accustomed to it. After stepping over the basin, Chumo put on a cold face, but his heart said, "What's wrong with father-in-law now? He seems very angry. Did I do something wrong?" Holding Chumo's hand, I tightened my grip slightly. Father is just like that. Don't take it to heart, Prince. The prince wasn't scared just now, was he? This prince is not easily scared. He spoke stubbornly, while his long index finger began restlessly, stroking the back of my hand, making me feel ticklish. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be my own delusion? During lunch, my father had already changed his clothes, and was sitting across from us as a couple. Fearing Chumo would be too reserved in front of my father, I kept putting food into Chumo's bowl. In his heart, he kept praising me with flattering words, which made me very happy. My father's face gradually darkened. After the unpleasantness, my father called me into his study. "My darling daughter, why did you keep putting food in Chumo's bowl? Didn't I tell you to train him into a henpecked husband? I haven't seen you for a few days. How did you end up on the same side as him? Where are your rules for a wife?" My father was sternly angry. I gave him a shoulder massage with a beaming face. "Father, he's already been won over by me. You should be a bit nicer to him too. Don't always put on a sour face. It's quite upsetting." "You won him over?" My father looked at me with disdain, drawing out the last word, looking completely incredulous. "From what I see, you've clearly been won over by him. My darling daughter, you're in trouble. He's got you wrapped around his finger." My father gnashed his teeth, repeatedly cursing himself in his heart. "I'm truly an old fool. How much better it would have been if I'd sent the child to the palace. At least it would have brought honor to the family." Next, he began repenting to my mother again. My ears were almost growing calluses. The crying in his heart stopped. Suddenly thinking of something, he looked at me again. "Have you two consummated the marriage?" My little face turned red instantly. "Father, what are you talking about?" After my father learned that Chumo and I hadn't consummated the marriage, he felt much more relieved. When night came, I was supposed to stay with Chumo, but my father didn't agree. He insisted we sleep in separate rooms. I agreed, thinking I would go back to find Chumo in the middle of the night. But as the saying goes, no one knows a daughter like her father. My father had anticipated my move. No one knows a daughter like her father. My father had anticipated my anticipation. Carrying a quilt and a straw mat, he made a bed on the floor in the guest room where Chumo was staying, leaving me momentarily unsure whether he was guarding against Chumo or guarding against me. I couldn't sleep. In the middle of the night, I crouched by their window and peeked in. My father's snoring was thunderously loud. Very exaggerated, but in my ears was my father's inner voice. Want to get with my daughter? In your next life. Wait, don't even think about it in your next life either. Father really has a talent for faking sleep. Another familiar voice gradually reached my ears. Has father-in-law accepted me? He's actually willing to stay in the same room as me. He must have accepted me. But I really miss Wanwan. I really want to go and see her. In this situation, Chuemo didn't even consider his own safety, yet he was still thinking of me. It truly made me feel that I hadn't married the wrong man. The bed inside creaked. I crouched down, fearing I would be discovered. I then heard the sound of Chuemo getting out of bed. Then my father spoke. Prince. Where are you going? Minister. This prince wants to go out. Are you going to stop me? Chuemo's tone was still cold. My father's expression changed, and he said with a beaming smile. This official only wanted to accompany the prince. Don't be fooled by my father's smiling face. In his heart, he was cursing Chuemo from head to toe. I really admire my father cursing him from head to toe. I really admire my father. He could actually say, accompany you out without his face twitching. If it were me, and Chuemo was begging me in his heart to accompany him out, I would resolutely refuse. Hearing the two men's footsteps approaching, I didn't hesitate for a second. Grabbing my skirt, I slipped away. If I'd known, I wouldn't have brought Chuemo for a home visit. Such bad luck, truly bad luck. Without hearing the familiar inner voice, I stayed awake all night. It was quite exhausting. The next day, I was waiting at home for them to finish court and have lunch. I saw my father and Chuemo walking side by side, and their relationship seemed to have softened a bit. Abnormal, simply too abnormal. After hearing their inner thoughts, I found out that it turns out my father was promoted. He is now the Grand Secretary of the Imperial Secretariat, and importantly, it was Chuemo who promoted him. I was bewildered. At the dinner table, my father was vigorously putting food in Chuemo's bowl. His large mouth was wide with a grin. I felt pain in my own face for him. Eat more, Prince. Seeing his eager appearance, it was as if I were looking at myself from yesterday. It turns out that in my father's eyes, every move of mine was so cheap. He even said I was wrapped around Chuemo's finger. Isn't he the same? Thinking from my father's perspective, this move of his is also understandable. After all, he hadn't been promoted for 5 years. He has been in officialdom for 10 years. He wasn't promoted in the first 5 years either. In officialdom for 10 years. In the first 5 years, by relying on flattery, he rose all the way from a minor scholar to a minister. In the later 5 years, no matter how he flattered, it didn't work. He remained just a minister. Actually, I have also suspected that his top scholar status wasn't something he earned through exams, but something he flattered his way into. I truly haven't seen my father make any contribution to the court or the people. Presumably, the emperor also saw this, which is why he didn't promote my father. Before returning to the prince's manor, my father pulled me into the study. I thought he was going to tell me to be kind to Chuemo. I didn't expect that as soon as he opened his mouth, it was to ask me to persuade Chuemo to rebel. My father's words never failed to disappoint me. I frowned. Father, you were just putting food in his bowl. Doesn't that mean you've accepted him? I have accepted him a little. But what does that have to do with him rebelling? Think about it. If he succeeds in rebelling, won't you be the empress? And won't I be the state duke? Truly worthy of being my father. It turns out his goal is to be a state duke. You want to be a state duke? Then you should have just sent me into the palace back then. Did you really have to put me through all this? If I'd sent you into the palace, could you have outmaneuvered those concubines? After a few days, if you weren't sent to the cold palace by the emperor, that would already be considered pretty good. I was rendered speechless. I said no more. The fact was indeed so. Before my father had earned his top scholar title while he was still a poor scholar. Before my father had earned his top scholar title back when he was still a poor scholar, I attended a private school. I was often slandered by my peers, who said I stole their writing brushes, ink, paper, and inkstones. What was even more ridiculous was they said I stole their silver. Their family backgrounds were all much better than mine. They saw that I was a female student, and the teacher preferred to discuss academics with me, so they deliberately hid things to frame me and get me kicked out of the school. Considering my father's future, I didn't dare to confront them head-on. Furthermore, the teacher of the school was willing to take me, a girl, as a student. That was already no easy feat. I could only swallow my grievances without saying a word to my father. But my father seemed to know everything. One morning, he didn't set up his stall to write letters for people. He directly barged into the school with a hoe and smashed all their low tables to pieces, just to vent his anger for me. That same day, he dragged me home and wouldn't let me continue at the school. He personally taught me to read. My father said to me then that he would let Wanwan live a good life in the future. To this day, I still get moved to tears by those words. My father wasn't just giving me false promises. He truly did let me live a good life. When I was leaving with Chuemo, my father had people bring out 20 bags of rice, 20 caddies of taro, 30 caddies of corn, and so on. The regent prince's manor isn't lacking in food, but my father insisted on filling 5 whole carriages for me. I was all ready to get into the carriage My father pulled me aside again. I was all ready to get into the carriage. My father pulled me aside again. To whisper, "Darling daughter, don't let your thinking be too traditional." I didn't understand. My father handed me a book with a toss, which was also wrapped in a thick layer of cloth, looking at me with a face full of smiles. Before I could reply, he pushed and ushered me out the door, not forgetting to remind me, "When you get to the prince's manor, open it alone and take a secret look." I sat in the same carriage as Chumo, holding the book. I was truly curious about what was wrapped in this cloth, lost in thought for a moment. I unwrapped the cloth, and the title came into view. How a Couple Lives in Harmony. It suddenly dawned on me. I shifted my body to sit to the side, opened the book, and began reading with great interest. This book was quite ingenious, even better than those storybooks I usually read. I read so intently that I was lost in it for a while, ignoring someone's incessant chatter in my ear. Why doesn't Wanwan take the initiative to ask me? Why father-in-law's attitude suddenly changed so much? What is she looking at? Why doesn't she look at me? I can't even compare to a book. In my field of vision appeared a well-defined, slender hand that snatched the book from mine. In my panic, I suddenly lunged forward, directly pressing down on Chumo. One of Chumo's long arms encircled my waist, while the other hand held the book high up. His face was cold, but the tips of his large ears were visibly red. His face was cold, but the tips of his large ears were visibly red. His angry inner voice panted in my ears. She ignored me just now. Now she can actually lunge at me for the sake of a book. I truly have fallen out of favor. I actually can't compare to a book. But Wanwan is really so light. She smells so good. I don't want to let go. The strength in his hand increased, firmly encircling me in his arms. After hearing his inner thoughts, my mind was in a mess. What is the princess doing? This elegant voice pulled my thoughts back. Prince, what are you doing? In the next second, Chumo let go of his hand. My center of gravity was unstable, so I subconsciously hooked my arms around his neck, getting a bit closer to him. Chumo's cheeks were flushed, yet he put on the posture of a gentleman. This prince told you not to cross the line. Did you treat it as wind passing your ears? I have always been like this. Besides, it was the prince who first snatched my storybook. You were also just hugging me. You, the prince, must also like Wunner, right? I stared straight into his long eyes, with extreme sincerity. The prince only accepted the marriage because he likes Wunner, only accompanied me on the home visit, and only promoted my father. Am I right? My heart was beating hard. After saying those words, I inexplicably regretted it, because besides his heartbeat being a bit fast, Chumo had no other reaction at all. The carriage was very unsteady. My head directly bumped into Chumo's cheek. My head directly bumped into Chumo's cheek. Inadvertently, my lips pressed against. My head bumped directly into Chumo's cheek. Inadvertently, my lips brushed the corner of his mouth. He was stunned. I was stunned too. The book in his hand fell right down, landing on the wooden floorboard. Thud, I snapped back to my senses, quickly turning my head away, not daring to look at him. For the first time I experienced that kind of shyness described in storybooks. His arm came back around me, pulling me into his embrace. In Chumo's eyes, there was no longer the usual coldness. Song Wunner, if I were to change my personality today, would you still like me? He didn't give me a direct answer. The words he spoke were so cautious, as if he were testing me. Chumo's melancholy inner voice flooded my ears. Wanwan didn't really mean to kiss me just now. My true nature isn't the type she likes. She likes that arrogant, aloof regent prince, not a clingy person like me. Knowing what Chumo was thinking, I tried to cup his face, but the words remained stuck in my throat. I am no longer who I used to be. Those smooth, deceitful words. I couldn't say a single one of them at this moment. Chumo didn't speak either. His expression filled with dejection. He let go. And I let go as well. Immediately after, I consciously sat to the side. I leaned down slightly to pick up the book. But he snatched it away first, as if he were throwing a tantrum at me. I leaned down to pick up the book, but he snatched it away first, as if he were throwing a tantrum at me. After returning to the regent's manor, I went to a remote courtyard, and locked myself away. My heart felt inexplicably stifled. I wanted to practice calligraphy to calm down. But the more I wrote, the more restless I became. When I finally came to, the rice paper was covered with the name Chumo. My heart trembled violently. I grabbed the paper and tore it to shreds. I was utterly frustrated. Clearly, those flirtatious words I said to Chumo were meant to deceive him. So how did I end up falling for him myself? I no longer had the mind to care about that book. All my thoughts were on Chumo. In matters of love, I was too dull, relying on storybooks to understand just a little. I opened the door. After much hesitation, I made up my mind to go see Chumo. If I truly like him, I naturally cannot let him suffer in longing alone. He wasn't in the manor. The servant said he went out. So I waited for him, until the sun set behind the mountains. When it was time for dinner, he still hadn't returned. In autumn, food cools quickly. Before long, no steam could be seen on the table. Chui Lan, who usually serves me, walked in. She looked at me while picking up the dishes. Princess, let me reheat these for you. Then you can continue eating. Did the prince say when he would return? I had no appetite. I wanted to find Chumo. Did the prince say when he would return? I had no appetite. I wanted to find Chumo. The prince saw that you locked yourself away. He left in a huff without saying anything. As for when he'll be back. This servant really doesn't know. I nodded. Cui Lan carefully carried the food away. Her inner thoughts reached my ears. The prince is neglecting the princess like this. Yet she's still so worried about him. The prince is really too much. He doesn't know how to cherish such a good wife. And even went to drink at a brothel with Master Xingnan. Luckily I didn't tell the princess. Otherwise she would be so heartbroken. Drinking at a brothel, and with Xingnan? My fists clenched instantly. Chumo, you'd better hope that your body remains pure tonight. Otherwise, I will demand a divorce. I rushed out into the street in a rage. The chaotic thoughts of the crowds made my ears ring. I covered my ears, intentionally blocking them out, and ran all the way to the city's most famous Wanhua house. A row of girls stood at the entrance, waving colorful silk handkerchiefs. The scent of various powders and rouges mixed together, making me feel nauseous. The inner thoughts here were even more cluttered. Vile thoughts came one after another. I strained to distinguish the voices, until I identified Chumo's voice. My heart turned cold. He was indeed here. I didn't have time to listen to what case he was discussing. My heart was cold. He was indeed here. I didn't have time to listen to him anymore. Secretly clenching my fists, I dashed inside at full speed. Those girls tried to stop me at the door, obstructing me. Lady, you can't go in. We don't accept female guests. I waved my arms wildly, struggling to squeeze through. Even though I got their scent all over me, I couldn't care less. I rushed all the way to the second floor of Wanhua House to the door of the private room where they were. Before I could burst in, I heard the sound of a wine flask shattering, followed by an angry roar. Xingnan, are you advising me to divorce Songwaner? It was Chumo's voice. My body shuddered. Doesn't the prince know it well in his heart? Songwaner was willing to accept the imperial decree to marry you and said she liked you, just because she wanted to use you to get her father promoted. The prince is too simple-minded. You really gave her what she wanted. Now her father is already a high-ranking secretariat director. She knows what's important, now that her goal is achieved. She naturally won't continue to play romance with the prince. I want to give the prince a piece of advice. If you don't want to be hurt too deeply, you should divorce her soon. My whole body was tense. I gritted my teeth. So this Xingnan came to drive a wedge between us. Just as the words fell, I heard a heavy thud from inside the room. The sound of someone hitting the floor. My heart couldn't help but tighten, fearing the two had started a brawl. Soon, Chumo's roar came again. My heart couldn't help but tighten, fearing the two had started a brawl. Soon, Chumo's roar came again. She can use me however she wants. If she wants to toy with my feelings, I'll let her. I used every means possible to marry her. Why should I divorce her? Just because of one word from you? My hand, which I had urgently reached out, froze in midair. He used every means to marry me? Wasn't it my father who requested the marriage? Why would Chumo? If the prince can think clearly, then it's for the best. Xingnan's tone changed completely, as if the person advising Chumo to divorce him wasn't him at all. Since the prince doesn't want to let go, then the princess won't be able to escape in this lifetime. Besides, feelings grow over time. Don't restrain yourself anymore. Perhaps she likes your true nature. Chumo was slightly stunned. Are you serious? We've been brothers for nearly 10 years. Would I lie to you? For the prince to marry his beloved, I helped quite a lot as well. Xingnan is truly a good friend. His inner voice came through. Those words earlier didn't provoke him in vain. Luckily, he understands his own heart now. If I had really persuaded him to divorce her, I wouldn't be able to sleep peacefully in the future. The room went silent for a moment. I moved quietly, pressing my ear to the door to listen. Unknown to me, a fat man with large ears had appeared behind me. He was scrutinizing me. Oh? Is this a new girl at Wanhua House? She looks so fresh and pretty. Let me have a kiss. Oh? Is this a new girl at Wanhua House? She looks so fresh and pretty. Let me have a kiss. His hand immediately reached out to me. He was stinking of alcohol, and his strength was quite rough. He grabbed my wrist in an instant. I felt a surge of joy. Perfect timing. I haven't used the self-defense my father taught me yet. Count him unlucky today. My movements were swift. I threw him down and subdued him in one move. I stepped on his head. Before I could even break a finger, he let out series of miserable screams, attracting the attention of the whole hall. You wench. Do you know who my wife's father is? My father-in-law is General Zhou, a founding minister. If you touch a single hair on my head, I'll have Wanhua House leveled tomorrow. Hearing this, I laughed. This is the first time I've seen a man living off a woman who is so arrogant about it. A man without self-respect is just a piece of trash. You degrade yourself so much. I'm afraid by tomorrow, you'll be the one kicked out by your wife. You're just a wench in a brothel. How dare you be so arrogant? Why do you speak so vulgarly? If I don't teach you a lesson today. My surname isn't Song. The pressure from my foot increased. I rolled up my sleeves and raised my fists, striking him over and over. His screams grew louder. He kept shouting that a girl from Wanhua House was murdering him. Wanwan. I stopped my hand and turned toward the voice. At some point, Chu Mo had already appeared by my side. Chu Mo was already standing by my side, looking at me with a face full of anxiety. I immediately withdrew my foot, stepped forward, and wrapped my arms around Chu Mo's waist, starting to cry and play the victim. Chu Mo, my hand hurts so much. Look. It's all red. I was held by Chu Mo as we returned. As for the son-in-law of the secretariat official, he had already been taken away by Xingnan. Chu Mo applied medicine to my hand without a word. I heard his inner voice, I am so useless. Actually letting Wanwan face these things alone. Look at these injuries, if only they were on me instead. Chu Mo's eyes were glistening, as if tears would fall the next second. Prince. Call me Wanwan from now on, okay? I reached out a finger to hook onto his sleeve. Acting spoiled with him had seemingly become a habit of mine. Chu Mo stopped his movements. His elegant voice echoed in the room, Wanwan. I haven't touched anyone else. I was stunned. Was he explaining himself to me? Xingnan likes that place. I only went to find him. I haven't done anything to betray you. I suddenly understood. He wanted to prove to me that he had self-respect. Chu Mo is truly adorable. This was the first time he had said so much to me. I made Wanwan suffer today. It's my fault. Chu Mo bowed his head silently, his fingers rubbing the back of my hand. He rubbed the back of my hand. I'm not suffering, for some reason. Tears began to well up in my eyes too. When I lived a hard life with my father, even if I suffered many grievances, I would fight back for myself. This was the first time someone had said these words to me. How can you not be aggrieved? Clearly, you can't make your own decisions about anything, yet you still have to comfort others. Chu Mo murmured to himself, even though he spoke very softly. I heard it all. I fought back the tears, feeling a wave of emotion wash over me. The prince being willing to say this to me today makes Wanner's heart truly happy. Can you stop talking like that? Chu Mo's words made my heart skip a beat. Did I say something wrong? Did I make him unhappy? I tried hard to use mind reading to hear his thoughts, but there wasn't a sound. Was he not thinking, or has my mind reading disappeared? I became even more flustered. I cautiously tested him. Does the prince dislike me talking like this? I like it very much. But it's all fake. I shouldn't take it seriously. After hearing his inner voice, I immediately let out a sigh of relief. Prince, come closer. I patted the space between us. But Chu Mo didn't move. I moved closer on my own. He dodged slightly in fear. I leaned right in and kissed his cheek. Wanwan is sincere this time. This time, I am sincere. The prince can take it seriously. Once those words were out, things got out of control. He pinned me down. I saw his Adam's apple bob. His voice became husky. I want to hear Wanwan call me husband, okay? I smiled knowingly. Husband. Just as I said it, a book fell out from his robes, still carrying some of his warmth. I looked closely. It was the one my father gave me. You still carry this book with you? I wanted to know what Wanwan likes, so I carried it with me. The corner of Chu Mo's mouth curled up. He smiled at me meaningfully. He leaned down and whispered in my ear. I didn't expect Wanwan to like this. My body stiffened. When I got up to do my makeup in the morning, Cui Lan was startled. Princess, why are your lips swollen? I hurriedly picked up the bronze mirror to check. They were indeed quite swollen, as if stung by a hornet. I cleared my throat and made up a random excuse. I have excessive internal heat lately. I'm inflamed. Cui Lan didn't believe me. It's autumn. The princess hasn't eaten anything spicy. How could you have excessive internal heat? I interrupted Cui Lan, telling her to make me some cooling soup. Only then did she leave. Since Chu Mo and I revealed our feelings to each other, my mind reading has been intermittent. I could no longer hear the inner voices of others. But for Chu Mo's thoughts, I could sometimes hear Chu Mo's thoughts. And sometimes not. It was incredibly strange. In the regent's manor, Chu Mo built a stargazing tower for me to enjoy the moon and stars. Chu Mo was very clingy. As soon as he came home, he'd lean all over me. I couldn't drive him away even if I tried. After dinner one day, I sat with him at the stargazing tower. His head was resting on my shoulder. One hand held my waist, while the other played with my sleeve. Wanwan, what wishes do you have for this life? I want all women in the country to be able to read and be qualified to enter schools. I also want to be a female teacher and open a private school only for female students. I believe even if a woman never marries and never lets herself be controlled, she can still live a wonderful life. The moonlight fell on Chu Mo's face, making his features look much softer. His thin lips were pressed tight, making me a bit unsure of what to do. Actually, marrying isn't bad either. If the husband has self-respect and knows to cherish his wife, life can be very good. Chu Mo followed up on my words. Wanwan's wish I will work hard to achieve it. I know I'm just dreaming. The prince doesn't have to take it seriously. Call me husband. He sat up straight. The gaze he directed at me was incredibly burning. I was confused and puzzled. He explained to me. Does Wanwan know? Couples among the common folk call each other husband and wife. Ordinary couples call each other husband and wife. I want to be just an ordinary couple with Wanwan. I wasn't surprised that Chumo said this. The royal family is different from common families. It's full of plotting against each other. And brothers killing brothers. When the late emperor was critically ill, many princes were eyeing the throne. Only the fifth prince, Chumo, was willing to step back, volunteering to go to his fiefdom. He was only 10 years old then. Later, the current emperor, Chu Heng, who was Chumo's biological older brother, personally orchestrated the massacre of all the other princes. To seize the throne. It took 10 years for Chu Heng to be willing to bring back Chumo, who posed no threat to him, to the capital. I can't imagine how much pain Chumo must have suffered mentally, losing so many family members overnight. Plus, during his time in the fiefdom, he likely didn't have it easy, living under constant surveillance from the emperor. I put my arms around his neck and smiled at him. Then husband must call me wife too. Inside the regent's manor, we will live the life of an ordinary couple. Wife's wish will come true. I hope so. Afterwards, we talked for a very long time, as if we were finishing all the words for a lifetime. Chumo said Xingnan accompanied him in the fiefdom, making life quite interesting. Xingnan would take him to climb trees to steal bird eggs and play with crickets. They were companions in all sorts of mischief, like cockfighting and other troublesome things. Xingnan often got scolded by the managing matron sent from the palace. I burst out laughing. How did husband and Xingnan meet? Xingnan is the son of the prefect. In the fiefdom, I often stayed at the prefect's house. When I was recalled to the capital this year, I recommended the prefect and Xingnan to my brother, so he could continue to stay by my side. Then, how did husband come to like me? After returning to the capital, my horse was spooked. It galloped through the streets and almost hurt a child. You were the one who saved him. I've helped many people. I had some impression of this incident. The situation was critical at the time. The people were avoiding it as best they could. A boy rashly ran out to pick up a ball. I used a great rock spreading wings move, followed by monkey reaching for the moon, and only then did I save him. Gentle horses are for pulling carriages. That horse was wild to the extreme, not looking like a captive animal at all. I used another great rock spreading wings, leaped onto the horse, stabilized the stirrups with my feet, and finally brought it under control. Just as I thought of this, I heard Chumo say by my ear, "You saved me too." How did I save you? I had just returned to the capital. The ministers had no impression of me. If I had hurt people with a runaway horse on my first day, and harmed the commoners, their complaints would have reached the throne one by one, and I'm afraid I would have been sent back to the fiefdom, or something even worse. The royal family is indeed sinister. That horse was likely even worse. The royal family is indeed sinister. That horse must have been Chu Heng's doing. I lowered my voice, thinking very clearly. Have you ever thought of rebelling? Chumo blocked my mouth with his hand. His eyes were shimmering with moisture as he looked at me. I have never thought of it. Power and status aren't important to me. And he is the only brother I have left. I don't want to lose him too. If one day my wife tells me to do such a thing, then just stab me with a knife. I don't want to go against the royal decree, and I don't want to fail my wife's expectations. Silly man, I won't let you fall into danger. I want my husband to live a life of peace and prosperity. This year's autumn hunt was organized a bit late. Chumo had to accompany the emperor to the royal hunting grounds. Normally, he could bring his female family members along, but he didn't plan on bringing me. A mysterious lump of frustration formed in my chest. I rarely saw him lately. He spent every day and night with his imperial brother, practicing swordsmanship. Strangely, he stayed overnight in the palace almost every night. Since my father became the chancellor, he's been incredibly busy. And he's often away from the manor too. He was mostly at other officials' homes, discussing key matters, planning for the people, and praying to the Buddha. He was quite conscientious and diligent, resembling an honest and clean official. Tomorrow is the autumn hunt. If I don't throw a tantrum tonight and beg Chumo to take me, he definitely won't take me. If I didn't beg Chumo to take me, he certainly wouldn't have brought me along. I followed my plan and hovered around Chumo, acting as if I couldn't take care of myself without him. His heart softened, but his attitude remained firm. He didn't seem to want me to go at all. When it was time for bed, I kept my back turned to him, sulking. Wife, don't be angry. The autumn hunt is very dangerous. What if you get hurt? He placed his hand on my arm, applying a little pressure, trying to turn my body toward him. I resisted him stubbornly. Husband must be deceiving me. The autumn hunt has been held for many years, and I've never heard of any female family members getting hurt. Besides, my skills are quite good. You've seen them yourself. Why still not let me go? Fine, I'll take you tomorrow. In the afternoon, I'll have someone prepare a carriage to fetch you. I smiled brightly. I proactively turned around, my eyes shining. Really? Really? Chuemo reached out and hugged me, caressing my hair. We fell asleep holding each other. I was happy for a long time. The next afternoon, a carriage was indeed waiting at the regent's manor entrance. It was Xingnan who came to fetch me. Greetings, princess consort. Xingnan got off the carriage and gave me a respectful bow. Let's not worry about these formalities. After saying that, I went straight into the carriage. But I didn't see Chuemo anywhere. I lifted the curtain and asked Xingnan, where is the prince? The prince is at the royal hunt, Xingnan replied. The prince is waiting for you at the hunting grounds. I nodded and sat back down inside the carriage. The journey was bumpy, the carriage swaying back and forth. I started feeling drowsy, but thinking about riding and hunting with Chuemo, I forced myself to stay awake. I lifted the curtain again and looked around at our surroundings. I frowned. Xingnan, this doesn't look like the road to the hunting grounds. This road is a shortcut. Don't be anxious, princess consort. Xingnan tightened the reins and cracked the whip. My memory is excellent. Once I'd been on a road once. I remember it firmly. In previous years, my father had taken me to the royal hunt twice. There was clearly only one main road. This was obviously Chuemo and Xingnan conspiring to deceive me. I clenched my fists, unable to find any excuse for Chuemo's actions. Xingnan, stop the carriage. Princess consort, we cannot stop here. Are you going to stop or not? If you don't stop, I'm jumping. Under my threat, Xingnan stopped the carriage. I jumped down and untied the lead horse's rope. I vaulted onto the horse. Xingnan didn't try to stop me. He seemed to know what I was going to do. He shook his head silently and muttered, Brother Chuemo. I did my best. I pulled the reins and galloped toward the royal hunting grounds. However, I was blocked by the guards at the entrance. I stood my ground against them, declaring my identity. They didn't believe me, and even raised their spears toward me. They didn't believe me, and pointed their spears at me. The regent specifically gave orders. The regent's consort is out on an excursion today and is not at home. How dare you? To impersonate a member of the imperial family. Only at that moment did I have a sudden realization. Chuemo must be hiding something from me. Otherwise, he wouldn't have planned this so meticulously, calculating even the possibility that I would ride a horse to the hunting grounds. The regent is injured. Someone come quickly, the regent is injured. A group of people was shouting frantically. My heart tightened. Tugging the reins, I impulsively charged into the royal hunting grounds. The two guards chased after me. I slapped the horse's flank to make it run even faster. A crowd surrounded Chuemo, supporting him as they entered the garden pavilion. I jumped off the horse. Disregarding all etiquette, I pushed and shoved my way in. I saw Chuemo being helped onto a bed by two ministers. I parted the crowd, pushed aside a man in yellow robes, and sat directly on the edge of the bed where he had been sitting. I saw a long arrow pierced through Chuemo's chest. Blood was constantly flowing from the wound, staining his armor red. It was a shocking sight. Looking at his wound, I felt a sharp pain myself. All my anger and resentment were thrown to the back of my mind. I gripped his hand tightly and cried out, sobbing, Husband, does it hurt? Chuemo's chest heaved violently when he saw me. Does it hurt? Upon seeing me, Chuemo's breathing became shallow. He wiped my tears with the back of his hand and opened his mouth to comfort me. Wan, don't cry. It doesn't hurt. Liar, you're bleeding so much. How can you expect me to believe it doesn't hurt? I wept bitterly. The room was filled with the sound of my crying. All the civil and military officials were there. Wife, stop crying. Chuemo's voice was weak, which made my heart feel even more wretched. I stopped my crying, my throat tight. I silently looked around at the people present. There really were so many people. I must have embarrassed the regent's manner. Seeing the regent and his consort so in love, we are truly at ease. And even a bit envious. The one speaking was Chu Heng. I raised my eyes warily. He was standing right beside me. My goodness, the man in yellow I just pushed was him. Your Majesty, I didn't mean to just now. No matter. The regent is seriously injured. You were burning with anxiety, which we can understand. Besides, the regent was injured while protecting us. We naturally will not blame you. I immediately breathed a sigh of relief. So he was injured while saving the emperor. I thought my father had sent someone to do it. Wait, where's my father? Your Majesty, the imperial doctor is here. The imperial doctor is here. A familiar loud voice shouted all the way from outside into the room. I looked toward the door and saw my father dragging Imperial Dr. Liang entering breathlessly. Seeing me there, Imperial Dr. Liang came in huffing and puffing. Upon seeing me, my father pulled me aside and whispered, don't get in the way. My face fell. I suddenly felt that my father had changed. He used to show concern for me first, but this is also fine. I finally don't have to be caught in the middle. Feeling conflicted. My precious daughter, why did you come today? Didn't my son-in-law say you were going on an excursion? It's a long story. I'll tell you after we get back. I couldn't think of an excuse for a moment. My mind was entirely on Chuemo, feeling that this wound he received was not simple. The imperial doctor removed the arrow for Chumo, applied medicine, and bandaged the wound. He also instructed him to stay in bed and recover well. He couldn't attend court for the next few days. Chumo took a leave of absence. Because of his merit in saving the emperor, Chumo, previously a prince without power, now held some real influence. Every night, I would give him his medicine and change his bandages, fearing his wound would heal slowly. We slept in separate rooms for 2 days. By the 3rd day, he became unhappy. Wife, sleep with me today. My wound is almost healed. Seeing the wound that hadn't fully closed, I shook my head repeatedly, refusing to agree. He began to pester me. Acting like a spoiled child, he held onto my arm and wouldn't let go. Actually, I was still angry. Angry that he had lied to me, and still refused to be honest with me. My little grievance was quickly noticed by him. Refusing to be honest. My little thoughts were already seen through by him. Wife, have you been sulking at me these last few days? When he said this, I realized that my mind-reading ability had long since disappeared. If my mind-reading were still there, I would definitely have known his reasons, and I wouldn't have stayed angry with him until the 3rd day. Yes. Not only did you lie to me, but you also lied to my father. My father is so good to you. He couldn't bear to eat that grain himself, and sent it all to your manor. He sat up straight and leaned against me, hugging me. Chumo's chin rested on my shoulder, rubbing against my face. Wife, I'm sorry. If I hadn't lied to you, you definitely would have blocked that arrow for me. Wife knows. I can't bear to see you injured, let alone see you fall before me. I could feel the truth in his words. Chumo truly valued me more than his own life. Even so, you shouldn't use such flawed logic. You knew that if you were injured, I would worry. I would be afraid. I can't bear to see that either. He chuckled sillily. Wanwan loves me so much. I'm so happy. Stop being glib. I was really frustrated with him. How can he say such things at a time like this? I'm not being glib. Actually, that incident was a self-injury ruse. I was the one who ordered it. I wanted your father's official position. Many ministers thought your father and I were planning a joint rebellion. If I didn't sacrifice myself to show loyalty, many ministers would suspect your father and I were plotting treason. If I didn't perform this show of loyalty, I'm afraid the regent's manor and the Song family would be in trouble. So that was it. I had misunderstood him. Now the court situation is unstable. Someone has already secretly started this. I'm afraid they will set their sights on you, Wanwan. You are my life. Nothing can happen to you. Do you understand? I could feel his apprehension. I reached out and wrapped my arms around his waist, comforting him. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen to either of us. I've done so many chivalrous deeds over the years, and accumulated so much good karma, so naturally nothing will go wrong. Besides, aren't you my life as well? As soon as Chumo recovered, he immediately returned to the imperial court. In order not to attract attention, I stayed quietly in the regent's manor, rarely even visiting the chancellor's manor. I did some embroidery at the manor, read some novels, and practiced calligraphy. Life was relaxed, but I still felt a faint sense of unease. One day, the empress hosted a banquet and invited many wives and daughters of officials. I wanted to decline the invitation. Chuheng has ruled for 10 years, and the empress had never held such a banquet before. This was clearly a hangmen banquet trap. But then I thought, if I didn't go, the empress and the emperor would surely become suspicious. Wouldn't that be harming Chumo? I could dress myself up to look very dull, looking as if I had no schemes. The empress was dignified. She sat alone in her high position with gravity. Looking naive, the empress was dignified. She sat alone in her high seat and looked around the room, finally letting her gaze rest on me. Does the regent's consort know what the regent has been doing lately? My husband, a few days ago, just after finishing my new dressing table, he started making a swing for me. Empress, you have no idea. The construction of that swing is quite complicated. He has to draw plans, buy materials, and even check the geography. Not only that, the craftsmen have to be carefully chosen too. As soon as I finished speaking, the whole hall erupted in laughter. During the banquet, there were many people whispering. Husband is just what commoners call each other. The consort is married to the royal family after all. How can she be so ignorant of etiquette? She must be overly spoiled by the regent. So naive and thoughtless. Truly ostentatious. The empress spoke up, stopping them by citing the regulation that discussing the royal family behind their backs is punishable by death. Only then did they obediently shut their mouths. After the banquet dispersed, I proactively went to the empress to express my gratitude. The empress looked at me with a beaming smile. We are all family. No need to be polite. Emotions are thin in the royal family. That the regent can dote on you so much is your blessing. Since she praised me as a blessed person, I naturally had to praise her back. Your Majesty's blessings are far more than mine. My blessings are running out. Once, there was someone who built a swing for me too. Unfortunately, he is no longer who he was, and I am no longer who I was. Someone who built a swing for me too. Unfortunately, he is no longer himself, and I am no longer myself. As the empress spoke, her eyes kept looking up at the highest tower in the palace. Her world-shaking courage and power should not have been trapped within these four-walled courtyards. My father got promoted again. He is now the prime minister. The emperor relies on him heavily. Sitting on the swing, I couldn't bring myself to smile at this news. My father is now at the peak of power. Below only one person but above 10,000. Many in the court must see him as a thorn in their side. He must be careful with every word and action. I had a carriage prepared and left the manor without permission to congratulate my father. I was afraid my father would lose himself. I kept whispering in his ear, "Dad, you hold high office and great power now. You must never do anything that betrays the people. And you must never do anything that harms QMO. Just do your job honestly. Don't engage in corruption or bribery." My father nodded vigorously like a chick pecking at grain. He patted my shoulder and gave me his promise. Only then did I feel relieved to leave. I wanted to buy some snacks or preserved fruits to satisfy Chumo's cravings, but I almost argued with the vendor. Prices this year have doubled compared to last year. Isn't this just swindling people? After asking around, I learned it's because taxes have increased. They were forced to raise prices. QMO told me the treasury was empty. And Chuheng had indeed ordered an increase in taxes. Taxation has always been managed by my father's close friend, Uncle Li. It should be fine. My heart has been restless. Taxation has always been managed by my father's close friend, Uncle Li. It should be fine. My heart has been restless. I had no idea what the current state of the court was. QMO told me not to worry, that he would handle everything. Every night as I slept with QMO, he would always hold me very, very tightly. He even spoke to me while I was sound asleep. If it really comes to a point where there's no way out, no solution possible, will Wanwan stay with me? I answered him dizzily. I burrowed into his embrace, found a comfortable position, and went back to sleep. I really didn't think deeply about his words. New Year's Eve was approaching. I didn't feel like leaving the manor to prepare for it, so I let Xingnan go buy the things needed for the festival. It had been snowing for several days. Cui Lan came back from outside with some food for me, complaining about bad luck. I asked her, and found out General Zhou's house was holding a funeral today. His son-in-law had died. The coroner said the person had been dead for 2 months, the exact cause of death unknown. General Zhou's son-in-law was that scoundrel I met at the Wanhua brothel. My hand holding the water cup kept trembling. I was terrified that QMO had done this. If QMO really did it, then what was his purpose? Did he want to rebel? Was it so I wouldn't be bullied anymore? Or because he didn't want me to live a life full of fear and anxiety? My heart was pounding with panic. I happened to run into Xingnan coming back. He seemed to be deliberately showing off the treasure in his hand to the servants. This is from the western regions. He seemed to be deliberately showing off the treasure in his hand to the servants. This is from the western regions. A rare poison wine. I put in a lot of effort to get this. Don't touch it randomly. Xingnan didn't notice me approaching at all, continuing to boast about how deadly this poison wine was. Xingnan, did QMO tell you to get this? Xingnan flusteredly hid the item away, looking at me with extreme nervousness. Sister-in-law, it's nothing. It's really nothing. I'll just take a look. I stepped forward, wanting to grab it and see, but Xingnan refused to give it up no matter what. It seemed 80% certain that QMO told Xingnan to prepare it. My heart grew more and more frantic. All these coincidences strung together made me feel that QMO was really going to rebel. On New Year's Eve, Chu Heng hosted a family banquet in the palace. QMO didn't go. So naturally, I didn't go either. QMO didn't keep Xingnan for dinner. I sat next to QMO to eat. The atmosphere was heavy. I kept putting food into his bowl. This is the first year we've spent together. We should celebrate properly. Yes, we should celebrate properly. QMO only poured wine into my cup. When he looked at me, tears were swirling in his eyes. He moved the wine cup in front of me. Wife, you drink first. I frowned. The color of this wine was different from usual. It looked like the poison wine Xingnan mentioned. I didn't take it. Staring straight at QMO. He seemed so like a stranger. Husband, this is the poison wine, isn't it? Mist clouded my eyes. Tears pooling there. QMO didn't speak, which was a silent admission. So he prepared this for me. He had even thought out my final path. Husband wants to rebel, but is afraid the Song family will be called traitors by the world. Is that right? I stood up, took a small, heavy step forward, walked to his side, bent down, and met his eyes. Wanwan said that once married, I follow my husband. No matter what decision my husband makes, I will stay by my husband's side. The outcome doesn't matter. QMO, if you want to rebel, I will accompany you. QMO poured another cup. He held the cup and tilted his head back slightly, looking up at me. Wanwan, you cannot accompany me. It's not worth it. He drank it all in one gulp. I frantically patted his back. QMO, spit it out. This is poison wine. This is poison wine. Chumo's lips were tightly pressed together. No matter how I patted him, he wouldn't spit it out. I grew even more anxious. Suddenly, he reached out and held the back of my head. My lips met a soft sensation. Bitter and strong wine came rolling in. My body stiffened. My throat moved. And I subconsciously swallowed the wine. My heart instantly turned cold. Tears fell uncontrollably. Wife, don't be afraid. This is a medicine for faking death. He pulled me into his embrace. I leaned gently against his chest, listening to his frantic heartbeat. He was clearly so afraid himself, yet he still wanted to comfort me and hold me so tightly. 1-1, it is my incompetence. Imperial brother found out the autumn hunt was a trap I set. He no longer trusts me. He thinks I've colluded with the Song family to secretly rebel. He wants to get rid of me. But I cannot implicate the Song family. Only this way can I keep the Song family out of it. So Chu Heng never trusted Chu Mo. The reason my father could become prime minister was also a move by Chu Heng. He wanted to raise my father up to destroy him and eliminate the useless Song family at the same time. I opened my mouth but I couldn't make a single sound. My whole body was weak, and I could only lean on him. If I had known this would happen, I should have let Imperial brother refuse this marriage. When your father asked for the marriage decree, he had already written the memorial to refuse it. It was I who knelt before his palace for 3 days and nights before he granted it. I have lived my whole life being schemed against. But 1-1, you are different. Your good days have just begun. I cannot be so selfish. 1-1, forgive me. I cannot fulfill your wishes anymore. My chest hurt, and a strong metallic taste of blood welled up in my mouth. I spat out a mouthful, staining the collar of Chu Mo's robe. I felt so sleepy, and my body couldn't move. Urgent and chaotic footsteps came from outside the door. With a trembling hand, he covered my eyes, extremely nervous. I leaned against him, crying, fighting the drowsiness, using the last of my strength to grab his clothes. I held on very, very tightly. It felt as if once I let go, I would really lose him forever. 1-1, be good. After a sleep, the Song family will be safe. Chu Mo. But I want you to be safe. My heavy eyelids fell shut. Loud noise at the door. The sound of blades, and my father's voice. He kept crying out, calling my name, not forgetting to curse Chu Mo. Chu Mo, I didn't expect you to really rebel, but my precious daughter was so good to you. Why wouldn't you even spare her? My precious daughter is gone. How can you expect me to live on? It was your daughter who refused to rebel with me, so I had to strike her down. It's not bad either. At least I'll have company on the road to the Yellow Springs. Chu Mo's acting was so clumsy. Not good at all. General Zhou, you saw it too. The Song family was unwilling to rebel with me. So taking me alone is enough. Was my father tied up? Release him. After General Zhou's booming voice rang out, I could no longer hear what they were saying. I woke up in my own bedroom. I saw my father sitting by my bedside, already asleep. I looked out the window. It was still dark. My strength had returned somewhat. A little bit. I sat up straight and shook my father's sleeve. I woke him. Dad, where is Chu Mo? My father slowly woke up. After seeing me, he rushed over, starting to cry like a child. Precious daughter, you're finally awake. Do you know how Dad spent these past 7 days? I comforted him for a good while. Only then did my father stop crying. Where's Chu Mo? I asked again, leaning closer. I sensed something was wrong, and desperately shook my father's sleeve. Dad, where is Chu Mo? On the second day after New Year's Eve, the emperor executed him. I was even the overseer. What? I couldn't catch my breath for a moment. My eyes were filled with tears. It felt like a knife through the heart. Good daughter, it was Chu Mo who saved the Song family. Because of his death, the real traitors who committed treason were lured out. He sacrificed himself to catch the traitors. My father gave a long sigh and told me about everything that had happened. After Chu Mo died, Chu Heng made a decree. The culprits were actually Minister Li and General Zhou. Minister Li had long coveted the throne. He was patient, always lurking by Chu Heng's side. He assisted Chu Heng, giving him plans and ideas. Even the purge of all the princes back then was partially designed by Minister Li. Chu Heng was still wary of him, only daring to give him a position in the Ministry of Revenue until my father became an official. Chu Heng wanted to use my father to test Minister Li. His test was to keep promoting my father until the 6th year. When Minister Li showed no reaction, did Chu Heng let down his guard and stopped promoting my father. Even being on good terms with my father was a move on Minister Li's chessboard. Later, when Chu Heng brought Chu Mo back, Minister Li started making small moves, secretly forming factions to consolidate his power. Minister Li had also sought out my father, but my father didn't understand, failing to catch his meaning. At this point, I asked my father, then why was General Zhou won over by him? Probably because of his daughter. My father's voice dropped significantly. I saw him get up to lock the bedroom door, before coming back to whisper, precious daughter. A few months ago, General Zhou's son-in-law went missing. His daughter was crying and screaming about jumping into a well. Was it that serious? For a man who was ugly and incompetent. She was even making a scene about jumping into a well. My father lowered his voice again because his daughter never liked studying since she was young. She was always kept in her quarters, had no worldly experience, and had never even seen many men. That's how she developed such a character. My father had a point. Fortunately, I realized the importance of reading early on. So I didn't turn out like her. So pathetic. My father didn't continue talking to me. He told me to rest well. And went to prepare food for me. Actually, I guessed some of it. Later on. If General Zhou loved his daughter that much, he would naturally want to avenge his son-in-law. All the girls and guests in the Wanhua brothel knew that General Zhou's son-in-law was taken away by Chu Mo. He had a grudge against Chu Mo. So to remove Chu Mo, his thorn in the side, he could only ally with Minister Li. I suspect that for the extra tax money, Minister Li probably took a huge cut. Recruiting soldiers and buying grain all requires money. So this is what it means to know a person's face but not their heart. Uncle Li is truly insidious. I didn't have much of an appetite. My father had me drink a few sips of porridge, and let me continue lying down. He walked out alone. When he turned around, I saw him silently wipe away tears with his sleeve. I followed him out, and saw him enter the ancestral hall in the backyard. In this ancestral hall, the memorial tablets of the Song ancestors were placed, along with my mother's tablet. I stood at the door and looked inside. There was an extra tablet inside. It read, Position of the Song family son-in-law. My father was burning spirit money for Chu Mo, muttering, Son-in-law Chu. Dad was wrong about you all along. Thank you for protecting the Song family, and protecting my precious daughter. If Wan hadn't woken up today, I would have almost buried her with you. He wiped away a tear, then sniffled again, crying messily. Our Song family was lucky to meet such a good person like you. Lucky to meet such a good person like you. But the Song family's luck couldn't keep you. If your soul is in heaven, you must protect my daughter and ensure her life is safe and smooth. I covered my mouth, suppressing my sobs, until I couldn't bear to listen anymore. I wiped my tears and ran away. I cried for 3 days. Cried until my voice was hoarse and I couldn't eat. Before I gradually accepted the fact of Chu Mo's passing. Without Chu Mo in this world, Songer is no longer Songer. But I still have to live well. Otherwise no one will remember Chu Mo. I had a maid in the manor feed me some water. And only then did I recover my strength. My abdomen began to throb with pain. I didn't know when even my undergarments were stained with blood. Before my father had even left the court, the maid rushed out and brought a doctor back. The doctor said I was pregnant. It had been a month. He also said my nutrition wasn't keeping up. Fortunately, it was caught early. There was just a little spotting. Otherwise, I almost wouldn't have been able to keep this baby. It scared me so much that I ate 2 large bowls of rice that day. After my father found out I was pregnant, he was so happy he couldn't stop smiling. He personally went to buy clothes for the little baby. I went out to burn incense for Chu Mo, wanting to tell him this good news. When the carriage passed by the regent's manor, I still longingly looked outside. There were traces of Chu Mo everywhere here. The only pity was the gate of the regent's manor. The gate of the regent's manor had long been sealed with cold strips of paper, sealing away both Chu Mo and Song Wan. I lowered the curtain and continued my journey. I arrived at the imperial tombs. I put on a veil and got out of the carriage. I had to bribe the guards to get inside. Looking at the words on the tombstone, my heart still throbbed with pain. I talked a lot with Chu Mo, talking until it was dark and I still didn't want to leave. If only I had looked at you more on New Year's Eve. That way, I could have etched your face deep into my mind. When I was going back, I ran into Xingnan. He handed me a letter of divorce and explained to me the reason Chu Mo targeted my father everywhere at first was because he wanted my father to be ambitious. Chu Heng had always valued useful people, rather than those who just flatter him, but do nothing for the court or the people. I opened the divorce letter. Every line was full of wishes. May my wife, after our separation, recomb her hair, beautifully paint her brows, gracefully present her slender figure, and choose a master among high officials. May you find a hero of the world, never to miss each other again. One parting, both broad, each finding joy and blessings. I wish my wife longevity for 1,000 years. With a cold face, I tore this divorce letter to shreds. The person is already dead, so this letter naturally doesn't count. Xingnan, you take this back from me. I went home fuming, cursing Chu Mo over and over in my heart. I cursed Chu Mo 500 times in my heart. Heartless man, he won't even let me be in peace after death. I immediately bathed and changed my clothes, wanting to wash away all this bad luck. But I still wasn't strong enough, and I cried again. The maid's voice in the room pulled back my thoughts. Miss, did you practice calligraphy today? Why is your dress stained with ink? What did you say? I begged my father for a long time, before he was willing to let me live outside. He set up a small courtyard for me outside the city. Cool in summer and warm in winter. It was a good place, just in a far-off county. My father had me take some maids and servants to serve me once I got there. I got on the carriage, took out the small portrait I drew of Chu Mo yesterday, put my hand on my stomach, and said, look clearly. This is your father, and he's a heartless man. If one day, mother forgets what he looks like, you are not allowed to forget. You have to find him, splash ink all over him, and write the words heartless man all over his clothes. That way, mother will be satisfied. The journey was exhausting. Passing by an inn, I had them stop the carriage to rest my legs. Ever since I became pregnant, even walking was a bit difficult. And I had to be supported by a maid. From the moment I got off the carriage, I felt someone was constantly watching me. I looked up at the second floor of the inn. A man was standing on the balcony. He had his back to me. Standing there in a white fur cloak. He felt incredibly familiar to me. And it made my heart race. I grabbed the maid's hand and ran straight to the second floor. Only to see the man sitting at the table, fiddling with some paper that was already torn to pieces. He was trying to piece it together, but his profile looked exactly like Chumo. I felt a stir of compassion and walked toward him unknowingly. He looked up at me, putting on a look of sorrow. If my wife was unwilling to separate, she could have just said so. Not only did you tear this paper, you even ordered Xingnan to bring it back to me. What was your intention? My nose tingled, and I ran toward him with big strides through my tears. Chumo caught me steadily. You're already pregnant. Why are you still being so reckless? You heartless man, you big liar. My body was shaking as I cried breathlessly. Okay, I'm a heartless man. I'm a big liar. Wife, don't cry anymore. Look, my heart is breaking for you. His voice was clear and gentle, and his hand kept stroking my back to comfort me, which put me at ease. All the clothes and grain I moved from the manor were moved into Chumo's large house. I came out of the inn with Chumo and got into his luxurious carriage. He served me with good food and drink, rubbed my shoulders and pounded my legs, and kept coaxing me. I, for one, wouldn't forgive him so easily. Still nursing my grievance, he started to embrace me, using his old tricks. Wearing me down with persistence. Wife, don't be angry. Wife, please don't ignore me. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. What was wrong? Wrong for faking my death to deceive you. And even more wrong for not going to explain it to you. I want an explanation. Chumo's chin rested on my shoulder, unrestrainedly playing with my sleeve. He told the story, on New Year's Eve. While I was in the dungeon, Imperial Brother came to see me. He brought me a bowl of rice, saying to eat it before I go on my way. Actually, that bowl of rice was laced with a drug. He got me out and had a prisoner who was about to be executed take my place using a disguise. Imperial Brother actually trusts me. He also trusts the Song family. It's just that he wanted to use us to lure Ministerly to take the bait. Because I was the only thing Ministerly feared. Chumo was right. Once Ministerly got rid of Chumo, Chuheng would relax his vigilance, making it much easier for him to make his move. Then why didn't you come to find me? I turned my head and asked as I looked at his face so close by. Actually, I also secretly observed you for a while. You cried for 3 days. When you almost lost the baby, my heart was twisted in knots. Fortunately, you and the child are both fine. Writing that divorce letter to you was because I wanted to know if you still missed me. I didn't expect someone to just tear the letter. Someone like me who couldn't protect his wife and child. The letter was torn. Someone like me who couldn't protect his wife and child doesn't deserve your love and doesn't deserve your favor. I was even more afraid that you would hate me, so I never dared to come find you. My eyes were red, tears falling rapidly. I won't let you say that. My husband is very good. You protected the Song family very well. And you protected me very well too. But don't you know, I have never once hated you. And I am very easy to coax. Just give me a hug and coax me, and I'll be fine. As soon as I finished speaking, he really reached out his hands and hugged me. So is my wife coaxed now? My face instantly turned red. I'm coaxed. As time passed, my body became heavier. I often had leg cramps at night. Chumo rubbed my feet and pounded my legs every night, and he even bought Danwen cakes, saying it was to be prepared just in case. I didn't have to do anything, just lying in bed waiting to be pampered. It's just that I couldn't sleep at night for some reason. Husband, when are we going to sleep in separate rooms? It's impossible to sleep in separate rooms. In this lifetime, it's impossible to sleep in separate rooms. He held me even tighter, as if afraid I would slip away. But I'm 4 months pregnant now. My belly will get bigger and bigger later on. The bed won't be able to fit us. Then tomorrow I'll find a carpenter to make the bed larger. Don't even think about sleeping in separate rooms. Wan, let's just have one child, okay? Chumo said it very seriously, not looking like he was joking at all. Why? Very seriously, not looking like he was joking at all. Why? Don't they all say many children mean many blessings? Many concubines in the palace, in order to win favor, all rushed to have children, ignoring even their own safety. Those who had difficult births all suffered. Our child was purely an accident. I originally thought when you were willing to have children for me, I would work hard, recalling the month before New Year's Eve, how diligent he was every night. Was it that he wasn't hardworking enough? I gave a cold snort. Big liar. My wife was angry again. He moved a little closer to me. Wife, don't be angry. Actually, I really didn't work that hard before. Why would I lie to you? He always liked to say these things with a straight face, always making my ears turn red. I spoke up to stop him. Stop it, I want to sleep. Wife, don't sleep yet. I have something to discuss with you. If you have something, say it quickly. I really want to sleep. After you give birth to this child, I'll set up a private school for you. You go teach. And I'll stay home and take care of the child, okay? My eyes lit up. Really? Why would I lie to you? Husband, you're so good. I proactively put my arms around his neck and kissed him several times. The day of birth was unexpectedly smooth. I gave birth to the child in no time. On the contrary, Chuemo was wailing outside the delivery room, crying nonstop. Even calling out, "Wife, we won't have any more. It's really too painful." The midwife in the delivery room couldn't stop laughing. It's really too painful. The midwife in the delivery room couldn't stop laughing. I really wanted to find a hole to crawl into. I gave birth to a daughter. Chuemo gave her the name Chulu. Chuemo doted on her beyond measure, staying by her side every day. He even took her along when he went to the inn. Later, after Yuiwe was weaned and my body had mostly recovered, Chuemo had someone post banners in the inn. Any family with a daughter who hadn't attended school could enroll her for free at his place. I voiced my concern. Wouldn't my husband lose a fortune? No loss, he said. My imperial brother was afraid I wouldn't live well, so he has a chest of gold delivered to our residence every month. We don't have to worry about money. Well, it seems I knew nothing about the wealthy. To think I even asked my father for more silver, planning to support Chuemo through this period. I didn't expect that I wouldn't be needed at all. Chumo's tactic was indeed effective. It brought me many female students. Every day, I lived a simple routine, from home to the school, and from the school back home. My students were all very bright, so I didn't have to worry too much. Chuemo would occasionally bring Yuiwe to the school to see me, and bring me meals. My wife is working hard. You are the pillar of our family, so you must eat more. Chuemo held Yuiwe in one arm, while using the other to serve me food. It made me feel that this moment was happier than ever before.